Good afternoon all. Is it possible to mow the lawn using a power tool battery? Well, yes it is, because you can get mowers that take power tool batteries. Ryobi do a range of battery powered mowers. Now this is a lithium 18 volt power tool battery. It's 4 amp hours, which is 72 watt hours. Well, kind of, they've just multiplied 18 by 4. Of course, as this thing discharges, its voltage goes down, so it's not an exact calculation, but this is an approximation for the amount of energy contained in this battery. Now, here's a Ryobi battery-powered lawnmower on amazon.co.uk. This one is £150, 18 volts, but this is a zero tool, or a bare tool as they call it, which comes without battery and charger, so it's quite expensive. Now the reviews are mixed. There are a couple of reviews here of free products which get 5 and 4 stars. This review, just 2 stars, says batteries charged didn't last long enough. So what are the alternatives? Well, there's this one, which is their Cordless Fusion lawnmower. It comes with 2 of those 4 amp hour batteries, and they're wired in series, so it's actually a 36 volt mower, but this one's £400. I'm not spending £400. Now there's one up here which is £340, and this one is interesting. This comes with 2 2.5 amp hour 18 volt batteries. Again, they're in series, so it's a 36 volt mower, and this breed is a hybrid one. Now what does hybrid mean? Well, it means that you can either use it on the batteries, or you can put in a mains cord, and it says here, if the batteries do run out of power, simply switch the mower to corded mode and plug in the supplied 8-meter cable. Well, that's not very long, is it? And keep mowing for as long as you need, which, if you read between the lines, kind of means when the batteries run out of power, you can finish the job on mains. So maybe this doesn't quite have enough total energy to finish the job. And part of me thinks that if I put these quite expensive lithium plus high capacity batteries into a lawnmower, it's going to wear them out quite quickly. It's going to run them quite aggressively and possibly shorten their service life compared with if I'm just using them in lighter weight tools. So that goes some way to explain why when I made a recent trip to Lidl, and I saw this, it's a 36 volt lithium-ion cordless lawnmower, including battery, for £149. Well, I was quite tempted to break my long-held brand loyalty to Ryobi. So I bought it. It was a bit of an impulse purchase, and here's the battery from it. It's branded Florabest. Sounds a bit like butter. On the back, this is a 36 volt, 2600 milliamp hour pack. Now 36 volt is going to be 10 cells in series, 3.6 or 3.7 volts per cell. So 10 cells in series, 2600 milliamp hours. Now that's a common cell size, and that's what I believed at first, but the manual that comes with it says number of battery cells 20. So if this is 20 cells, and it certainly looks big enough to be 20 cells, then they're going to be 1300 milliamp hour cells. Now, I don't know, are 1300 milliamp hour 18650 cells significantly cheaper than buying 2600 milliamp hour cells? So much so that they can afford to put 20 in this pack rather than 10 of these 2600 milliamp hour cells? I don't know, and I'm starting to get a little bit concerned, because the other possibility is that these are recycled cells. However, this thing comes with a 3-year warranty, and generally speaking, supermarkets are pretty good. When you want to take stuff back, you just raise your voice a little and they sort it all out for you. So have I done the right thing? The Florabest 36 volt mower, 2.6 amp hours, 93.6 watt hours, or should I have gone with the Ryobi 18-volt lawnmower, which would be 4 amp hours, 72 watt hours. There's not a huge difference in the total energy held in these two cells. Admittedly, the same price, £149. The Florabest comes with a battery and a charger. The Ryobi wouldn't. I mean, I already have batteries and chargers. But time to test this Florabest, I think. Now, I've had this battery pack on the charger unit for 20 minutes or so, and it is now showing that it's full. But when this was supplied, it was on the first of the green LEDs, so it had 3 LEDs on. So it came at a sort of storage charge level, you know, half to 3/4 full. I think I'll put it back on here and complete the charge, because I'm also charging my camera, which battery ran out on me while I was filming. So let's give this a full charge and see how we go. Right, it slides on, and then the green light starts flashing. Quite a nice sort of new electronic smell coming out of this thing, which I quite like, actually. I wonder if you can use the power indicator while it's charging. It probably just says full because of the raised voltage level when it's having current pumped into it. Okay, I'm going to leave that until this presumably stops flashing. Now it says that the charging time is approximately 1 hour, so that's a 1C charge. That's actually quite rapid for lithium-ion, but then of course you want to offer customers rapid charge, not necessarily long service life, although this does have to last 3 years. Interesting choice. Now here's the mower, and on the outside it says brushless motor. Ooh! And I've just noticed that up here on the control handle, the battery charge level is duplicated on another set of LEDs, which is quite handy because the battery is way down inside this front section here. So it's got a way of seeing the charge level while it's kind of in use. So this is where the battery goes in, just slides into that section there, and there's something here which they call the ignition key, just a shorting link I presume, which you have to push into there to make this thing run. Interesting. Right, let's put the now fully charged battery, let's just check that. Yep, 4 lights, fully charged battery into the mower, and put in this so-called ignition key. And give it a try. And I think I've managed to work out how to put my Nikon camera into time-lapse mode, so let's start that. Is that time-lapsing? Seems to be. Okay, let's mow. Well, now that's interesting because the mower conked out almost exactly as I finished mowing the lawn. So it has done the whole thing, but I didn't waste any time, and I didn't sort of over mow sections, but it's done the whole thing. It hasn't done sort of the fine detail around the legs of this solar panel frame. The battery is quite warm. I'd almost go so far as to say it's hot. Let's take it out. Oh, you can't until you release that. Or can you? Interesting. Oh, it's not warm underneath, but it's quite warm on the top. Yeah, mainly on the top actually, which is interesting. Now I think that's quite impressive because this was long grass, not quite that long, but it hadn't been mowed for a long time, and it's also quite damp. So one thing that did happen is it stopped chucking the grass up into the bin at the back, probably because it just got blocked in the intermediate section. So it's kind of dumped grass cuttings all over the lawn. But yeah, it did a reasonable job. And I set the cut height to quite a reasonable level, 45mm I think that is. And I could have set that quite a bit higher and done a much less aggressive cut. So you can see how damp the grass is. It's all kind of stuck around the blade, and here is the point at which it enters the box at the back, and that's just all full of very damp grass. So it's not surprising that it stopped chucking grass cuttings into the bin halfway through the mow. So is it significantly better than using a corded mower? Well, it's quite a bit heavier, particularly when the battery's in it. Of course, you don't have the hassle of having to lay the cord out and sort of replace it and reposition it as you're going, so that's convenient. You do, of course, have to have the hassle of charging the battery an hour before you start. One thing I did notice, though, that I was slightly range anxious. I was concerned that my battery was going to run out, and so you can't really just stand with the motor running doing nothing. You've got to keep moving, otherwise you're really just throwing energy away. So yeah, there was a bit of range anxiety. Now it would be quite handy to have a second battery. This one is most definitely empty, but whether or not you can get these batteries separately to the machine, and of course what these cost, it could easily be half the price of the mower, is an issue, so it may be impractical to try and obtain a second battery. Now the instructions say that this thing can mow, I think it's about 300 square meters, and I estimate that my garden's probably about 250. I think in subsequent mows, when the when the grass isn't so long, it will probably be lighter on the motor. It was straining a bit in parts, and so therefore it should have a longer run time. But yeah, I think all in all I'm quite pleased with that. I'm well aware of the constraints of lithium batteries, but yeah, it did a reasonable job. Cheerio.